Welcome to the AJ Awesome Show, a show about my favorite things. My name is AJ and my special guest for this episode is the Rock and Roll Express. I hope you like the show! Why did you start wrestling?
Robert and I both, we come from wrestling families. My dad was a professional wrestler. Then he come into the referee. When I was a kid, this is what we done. My dad, at that time, you didn't have the big promotions. You had independent or territory wrestling. And my dad, we pulled the ring and put it up. And my dad refereed the matches. And we took the ring back down and take it to the town the next day. We didn't have all the big trucks and stuff that they have now. So I grew up in the wrestling business. It was really all unknown. And it's the same thing with Robert because his brother was a professional wrestler, Ricky Gibson.
Can you tell me the story of how you became involved with the NWA?
With the NWA, well, back when me and Ricky first started, everywhere was the main thing was NWA, National Wrestling Alliance. It was just different territories, but it was all NWA. And like Rick was saying earlier about how do we going to become a wrestler? We grew up in the business. I was 6 years behind my brother. How old are you?
I am 9.
You're 9. So when I was 10 years old, I was setting up rings, tearing down rings, traveling with the guys, learning the business. I knew at your age, my main goal was to be a world champion. Not only did we do it once, we've done it 9 times.
And to answer the question, too, about the NWA, at the time, we were wrestling in Mid-South in Louisiana in the territory days. And then Jimmy Crockett, which owned NWA out of Charlotte, North Carolina, was taking over TBS. The Superstation 605 is what we're doing right now with NWA. We were wrestling there, and they heard about us. In our business, it was something new. Robert and I, we came out with the music. We were the young guys. We wasn't the 300-pound wrestler that was bad. It was something new to our business. And Jimmy Crockett was looking for something like that. And he come to Louisiana, and we come on TBS. And that's when our first night in, matter of fact, we won the NWA World Tag Team Championship. But see, you had a lot of great things that were going for NWA at that time. Ric Flair. You had the Ole and Arn Anderson. You had, the Four Horsemen, rather. The Midnight Express. This is one of the greatest territories at that time before all the WWE become alive. At that time it was WWF. They was mostly up north, but NWA is where we went, and that's where we stayed, and
that's where we're at now.
Yeah, still there after all these years.
What is something about you that would surprise people?
Something about us that surprises people? Well, the first one is right now is I'm 63 years old, and we became the 9-time NWA World Tag Team Championship, and that was something that nobody even thought that was going to happen.
That even shocked us.
Oh yeah, we come to that. We, we dedicated our life to this business, but you got to understand, Robert and I, like you said, we worked at things. We still depend on wrestling for a living. And the whole point is anybody that's out there, we still live our dream. You hear me? I mean, even at me being 63 years old, I'm reliving 25 again. And I hope that just becoming 9-time World Tag Team Champions, that was a big surprise, not only for the people, but for us too.
What advice would you give a new wrestler?
Train hard, keep your head straight, stay focused.
If you want to live your dream, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but never give up on your dream. You have a lot of young kids that's breaking into the business, And but see, a lot of them, you have to go to legit wrestling schools. You have to talk to people that really know what our business is about. Because a lot of people think they know everything, but really they don't know nothing about our business. This is a hard business to be into. You have to study our business. First of all, before you can do it, you have to understand it. Educate yourself to different things. You've got to have an open mind in our business. And always remember, there's always tomorrow.
What was your favorite match you wrestled and why?
Well, Robert,
All of them's my favorite. Every time I go in that ring, we get our hand raised. I'm a happy man.
yeah, but as being the Rock and Roll Express, we had the opportunity to wrestle a lot of different people. But when it comes, and don't get me wrong, everybody in our business is great. But when you sit and make history in our wrestling business, it was Robert and I against the Midnight Express. Now, see, this is the battle of the Expresses with their manager, Jimmy Cornette. Throughout the years, you know what? And these battles went on for 30 years. They just didn't go on for a year or two. I have to say, I've been in the ring with a lot of guys in my life, but the most memorable ones are history-setting matches that were some of the greatest matches in history. And we was talking about the younger generation of wrestling, and take some advice from me. Go back and watch the history of the Rock and Roll Express and Midnight Express. That's what wrestling's about.
If you could choose to have any superpower, what would you pick?
Any superpower? Superpower, Rick.
What's that?
If you could have any superpower, what would you pick?
You know what I like to do? I wish that, sometimes just be invisible and walk into a room and listen to conversations. I always thought that would be really cool. It wouldn't do that. It's a lot of superpowers. Robert's got superpowers too when he eats beans. Okay.
Okay. What's next?
What is your favorite cheat meal?
Favorite cheat meal? I don't think I got a cheat meal. I eat just about anything.
Okay, let me ask, are you saying cheap or cheat?
Cheat.
Cheat meal?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, man.
Ice cream?
You know what? I love ice cream, too. The only person I didn't know that didn't like ice cream was Ole Anderson, because he didn't like nothing. But cheat meal, buddy. You know what? It's hard to say because, I've come from the country, and I enjoy. Matter of fact, I like all meals. It don't matter if it's cheat or this. I don't know nothing about nutrition anyway. Boom, I'm just me. Okay.
Who is the Rock and Roll Express, and why should my viewers get to know you?
Well, and I think talking earlier, Robert and I have been tag team partners for 38 years?
Longest tag team in history.
Yeah, in history. And understanding being on the road with somebody that long, that's a hard thing to do. Matter of fact, I have been with Robert, my wrestling partner, longer than I have been with my wife, especially on the road. And who are we? We're the guys that pioneered this business. I mean, we loaded up in cars and traveled all over the country until we got the advantage, and we did it. And I'm not saying it's not now, but our business was a lot different. It was a lot harder. We depended on each other to make a living. Not only us, but all the boys at that time.
I'd like to say, tell your viewers to look on YouTube, look at the Rock and Roll Express and matches, and see how much that we enjoyed to go out there and wrestle and entertain all the fans every night.
Sure enough. And I want to tell you, thank you. It's a great honor and a pleasure
For having us.
to be on your show.
High five, AJ. Rock and roll. Can you do this? That's it.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the AJ Awesome Show. I would like to thank the Rock and Roll Express for being my special guest. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.